I want to go to Foreign Affairs now, and Foreign Affairs Minister Penny Wong. She's backed in our relationship with China, despite warning that Beijing is going to continue to increase its influence in our region. Have a listen.
The change in the regional landscape is permanent. The disruption, the contest, is permanent. China will continue trying to reshape the region according to its own interests. Russia, Iran and North Korea will continue to sabotage and destabilise. With so much activity and contest, things may not go Australia's way every time. But we will and we must keep pressing our national interest in the contest every day.
Let's bring in Lavina, Director of Foreign Policy and Defence Program at the United States Studies Centre. Good to talk to you again, Lavina. I think that's a pretty frank assessment from Penny Wong there, but it shows what a difficult position Australia is in, isn't it? This is our major trading partner, and yet they're seeking to expand their influence and upend the order, really, in our region. How does she deal with that?
Well, I actually think, in many respects, it's a good speech in that it does acknowledge that we're quite compromised in many ways, but we're not unusual. I would say the rest of the region is similarly in the same kind of bind. I think the thing that struck me is that she spoke about, our economic relationship with China, and building resilience. And in my view, we are so dependent on China as an export destination. But under this government, I do wonder whether that message about resilience and building resilience is really what is coming through to business leaders. That we learned a lot of lessons from COVID, that we were too dependent on China for practically every kind of manufactured good you can imagine. And the messaging since then has been it's business as usual and China's a big market, so let's go for it. But I think that that's a mistake. I think we really shouldn't forget those lessons and really think about what are the critical areas of our economy where we have to build our own manufacturing and industrial capacity.
Yeah, and we need to get our energy sorted if we were to do that, for sure, as well as diversify our markets, I suppose, our other export markets. I want to briefly go back to what Mike Burgess warned about, obviously talking about China last week, the ASIO boss.
Yes.
ASIO is aware of one nation state and no prizes for guessing who, conducting multiple attempts to scan and penetrate critical infrastructure in Australia and other Five Eyes countries, targeting water, transport, telecommunications and energy networks.
Yeah, now China came back with some sharp words over that, but no actions against Australia, no trade bans and the like that we've seen in the past. Have they given up on that tactic, or are we still really at the mercy of those sorts of punishments?
Look, I don't think that the Australian government has done enough on this score to deserve a punishment, but I say that yet. What I mean by that is that Mike Burgess warned not only that Chinese sophisticated hacking groups are stealing technology from Australian companies, and the same is going on around other Five Eyes countries, but he was really talking about the ability to shut down and sabotage our critical infrastructure. Now, if the Australian government were to go beyond allowing Mike Burgess to talk about this and to actually start putting in policies that suggest that we should ban Huawei from selling telephones, from WeChat, banning WeChat, or think about Chinese electric vehicles and the kind of sabotage that could go on if the penetration of Chinese electric vehicles goes on and hacking is possible. So if the government were to actually go that next step, just as the previous government put in place legislation on foreign interference, then I think the Chinese government would be very upset by that, and that could be a problem in terms of some kind of more serious response.
Indeed. Let's hope it doesn't prevent our government from taking the actions it needs to take, though. We'll see. Thanks for joining us, Lavina. I appreciate it. Lavina Lee there from the United States Studies Centre.